1 million people who tuned into the pilot. It's the new series based on the long-running DC comic, Green Arrow.
Yes, and we caught up with the star Stephen Amell, who gave us a hint of what to expect from the action-packed second episode.
The day I went missing was the day I died. 5 years of hell forged me into a weapon.
It picks up about a week after the pilot ends. It starts with a nice action sequence.
Who's that? Whoa, wait.
Then Oliver has to go to court to have his death in absentia voided, which is actually something that people have to do when they come back from the dead.
There was a storm. The boat went down. I was the only survivor.
He runs into Laurel at the courtroom, who's there pursuing a little bit of a nefarious gentleman who works at the Spelling City docks. Oliver catches wind of this, and this person is on his list. The episode rolls from there.
Now that Oliver's back from the dead and settling in a bit, he's still got some explaining to do.
What happened to you out there?
I don't want to talk about it.
The first episode of the pilot is hugs and parties and welcome back. It being a week later, that wears off. It's okay. Start explaining to me, where you were, what happened to you there, why are you different. He never could have anticipated how difficult it would be to re-engage with his family and his friends.
What are you doing here, Oliver?
My sister she pointed out to me that I had been distant since I got back, and that it would probably be a good idea if I let somebody in.
What we also get to examine is Oliver's first hours on the island.
Hey! Hey, get away! Hey! Episode 2 of Arrow also finds our hero confronting a formidable foe named China White.
China White runs drugs through the docks of Silent City. She is connected to the gentleman that works at the ports that both Laurel and I are pursuing.
Here's my eye! He said he's gonna testify against me.
How do you eat it?
Yo, man, shh.
We do engage in a really beautifully shot fight scene, and it's awesome.
So the second episode of Arrow is airing tonight at 8 p.m. on CTV2. The first episode debuted to really great numbers. It's interesting to see if it can retain that audience. It's always kind of, I think, for a new show, that's a scary time, right?
Well, yeah, the second episode is always a little bit different than the first because, of course, they shoot the first episode as a pilot. And then, take a break, shop it around, make some slight adjustments, and then your second episode picks up.
Yeah.
Storyline-wise, yes, all the same characters, actors, everything like that, but, it's shot in a different time,
Yeah.
so, tonally it can have a bit of a difference.
Well, one of the big things that people were talking about as a really positive thing for the first episode of the show was the action sequences, and apparently they continue onwards as just being incredible. And they, of course, introduced this new villain who is known in the DC comic world, China White.
Which is apparently a reference to a brand of not a brand, but like a strain of heroin. I know so little about drugs that I thought the term China White was cocaine for the longest time. It wasn't until today.
I had no idea that it was drug reference either, and I thought it had something to do with a reference to dinner plates or something like that, right?
You're China White. It's really not all that ominous.
Or toilet paper. It could be
My
toilet
grandmother
paper.
is bringing over her China White tonight. Yeah, a real big party.
We're making her less ominous than she is. I think
badass.
she does.
So
It's an amazing action sequence, and she, of course, she was in X-Men, right? Kelly Hughes. So I think she's an incredible fighter.
And Stephen Amell, as part of that interview, was explaining they use this really cool thing called a Russian arm, which is kind of like a Steadicam off the side of an SUV to do this huge tracking shot while they have this epic fight. So the second episode is sure to have lots of action, and we'll have more action and a creepy new game to show you when we come back after the break.